Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alejandra. I am super excited today because I'm going to interview the wonderful Amy. This will be my second interview in this wonderful channel, and I am super excited for you guys to hear her story and everything she does for the wonderful foundation of Scleroderma. Hi Amy, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. So I'm going to interview today about different things. And we're
Okay.
going to start with, when did you get diagnosed with scleroderma?
So let's see. I was diagnosed in 2001. I was 19 years old, so I was pretty young. I had symptoms probably since I was 15 or 16, like looking back now. And I was diagnosed with Raynaud's disease a year and a half before I was officially diagnosed with scleroderma.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think we got diagnosed at the same age. I got diagnosed when I was 18, and I think I had it long before because I had symptoms before and I had no idea. I always had an excuse for what was going on with me until
Right.
my doctor was like, no, we have to test you. You can't have so many symptoms. And, over a year, I had a lot of symptoms, and
Yeah, I was
that was
having
an
like a
excuse.
lot of reflux, and
Yeah.
I just thought like, oh, well, maybe it's like the food I'm eating.
Yeah,
And
you always
then
put an excuse.
right, yeah. And then I used to get like acrylic nails all the
Yeah.
time. And I would get what I thought was like a fungus.
Hmm.
But what I know now is they were ulcerated sores
Yeah.
on my fingers. But like then I thought like, oh, I got a fungus because I worked in the nursing home and I would get my hands wet a lot, like
Hmm.
washing them and stuff. So I thought, oh yeah, it's just probably like a nail fungus. No, no,
Yeah.
no.
No,
Yeah,
I know. I used to get a lot of dryness in my face, and
yeah.
a lot of I used to get really red patches all over my face. And then they send me to dermatologists, and they're like, "Oh, it's because you're in the sun too much. Just wear sunblock." I was like, oh, "Okay," and it would go away. Because I would
Right.
usually, and still to this day, I get a lot of red patches in my face during summer,
Hmm.
and it will only happen in summer. So I figure, okay, it's just I'm under the sun. It's normal.
So you don't get any of those telangiectasias, like the red spots?
I
Um,
do in my face. That's where I really, really get it. A
yeah.
lot of allergies. I would think they were allergies, but they weren't. And I get like dark red patches and like itchy, really itchy.
And they don't go away?
And they don't know, they don't go away. You will do anything, but they don't go away.
Yeah.
So I do get that. And on my skin, on my body, I don't really get them.
I have them from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet,
Oh wow.
like all over.
Mhm.
Like on my arms,
Yeah.
if you can see them, and then
Mhm.
like up here on my chest.
Yeah.
They're all over.
Oh no, I right now I just get them in my face. Hopefully it stays like that.
Yeah, I mean, some people are really lucky and they don't have
Hmm.
them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when did you get involved in a foundation?
Um, so like I said, I was diagnosed at 19, and it was really hard for me just because I didn't feel like I could connect with people. My local support group, which is the tri-state chapter, they had meetings and it was great, but I was the only like young adult.
Hmm.
So I went once, like maybe 10 years ago, and then I was like, no. Like I was so scared of what like everybody else looked like, or like that's gonna be me. And so I didn't go back. It took me like 5 years to go back. Um, and what made me go back was I think I was just like confident in myself, like, okay, I have this, it's not gonna go away, and I really want to help people like me, young adults, to realize like, okay, you could still have a good life, you could still do things, you could still be like a teenager or a young adult, you could go to college. All the things that like I thought I wasn't going to be able to do. so then I just started getting involved with like going to the support group, and then had an idea to form a virtual support group for young adults, just because like the support groups were fine, but there's not a lot of young adults in my area, so I wanted to connect like on a national level. So that's how I started to get involved, and they really liked it. I had like 5,500 members like in the first year,
Yeah.
and then so I decided I wanted to kind of cement my place with tri-state chapter, so I ran to be on the board, and I got elected last year.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know with the meetings, in our case, it's the same thing. We have around 13 support groups, and mostly they're older people. They're not our age. And I
Right.
mean, I love my support group. I'm a leader, and I love them. But it just feels nice to connect with somebody around your age, somebody that you have more in common. It took me 5 years to go to a meeting. I have no idea why, but when I went, I was happy because I finally knew somebody that had scleroderma, and like opposite from you, when I saw them, actually made me more happy because I'm like, okay, they've been diagnosed for maybe 30, 40 years, and they still look good.
Right.
So it gave me a hope that okay, I can still be good in a couple of years.
Right.
But it is
I think,
hard to, yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
I think everybody's different
Yeah.
with how they kind of deal with,
Yeah.
um, like it's like a new life, you have to kind of, rethink like how you're going to do things, how you're going to live, like, okay, how am I going to get dressed today? Like some people have a lot of issues with their hands, and I have a lot of issues
Mhm.
with my hands, so like things are hard, but you just, because it's like a daily thing, you kind of figure out tricks and
Yeah.
ways to get what you have to get done, like your way, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you just adapt to a new way of living,
Yeah,
and
I mean, you have
every day
to.
is different.
Yeah.
Every day is different. You have
Every
your
day is different.
Yeah, you have your good days when you wake up okay, but then a couple of hours you don't feel good, or when you wake up sick and then a couple of hours you're okay. Every day is different. And you just gotta learn how to live with it and cope with it, and you know. But I think the
Yeah.
first step is accepting that you have scleroderma, because I know a lot of people don't want to accept that they have scleroderma and that they can't do certain things. And I think that even includes me, because I still tend to do things that I think I can do, but then I regret it after,
Yeah.
but
It
it's
took me
just,
yeah,
yeah,
it definitely took me a long time to kind of accept. um I didn't want to really think about it, and I felt like, well, I look fine
hmm
and I feel fine like when I was diagnosed, so it's not a big deal. And then as I started to get all these symptoms, and like the pulmonary fibrosis, and you know the GI stuff, I kind of like, you can't ignore it
yeah,
anymore. um so then I just kind of, in my mind, was thinking, okay, well, I have this, and so I'm going to try to fight as long as I can to have the life that I want to have for as long as I can do that.
yeah, that's right. You can't let scleroderma win. Like going bowling, for example. I love going bowling with my friends and family, but I know I can't play,
Right.
but I can still have fun in my own way. I don't
Right.
have
You
to go
can,
and play.
yeah, you just still go and like connect with people and
Yeah.
eat the food and whatever,
Enjoy the music that they have sometimes.
Yeah. So I think like, at least for me, some of my friends in the beginning were, and even like my family were not inviting me to things because they didn't want to make me feel bad that I couldn't do certain things, but like it made me feel worse to not be invited. Like at least extend the invitation, and then I'll say no, I can't, or yes, I can, but I'll just like watch everybody, or whatever. Like you still want to feel included. So I think that's why we all connect, like, especially as young adults, like, we all want to be together and be friends and talk because everybody else that has scleroderma that's a young adult kind of knows what it feels like to be excluded sometimes. So I think that's why it was important for me to kind of set up the connection for the young adults.
And that's how we met. So it's good
Yeah.
because we're meeting people from everywhere, you know?
Everywhere. Like
Yeah.
Tahati, she's in Hawaii. That was amazing.
Yes.
I think the pandemic was it's horrible and like it's so frustrating and like to be cooped up, but I also think like it opened up this platform, this virtual platform for people like you or I that are sick and maybe don't live near other people that are sick to kind of use this platform to connect, where we maybe wouldn't have done that if we
Mhm.
weren't forced to be home.
Yeah.
So for that, I'm really thankful that we had not that people got sick and passed
Yeah.
away obviously, but like that it gave us this new platform to kind of
Yeah.
meet new people.
Like I said, we always carry hand sanitizers. We always have to make sure that no one around us is sick because having the flu for us is horrible. At least for me,
Right,
it
but
is.
it could be like detrimental, like you could die.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, for
So I
sure.
think this now that people are going through that, it's like, okay, do you guys understand what we have to go through? But
Yeah, it's super hard now. Like I used to be able to go to blood work, like make an appointment and go like the same week, and now it's like taking me like almost 2.5 weeks to get an appointment
yes.
because everybody's like, well, first of all, there's only like a couple places that are
Mhm.
open around me, and then
Yeah.
like everybody is now going because they couldn't go before. So somebody like me who has to go monthly, it takes forever to get in, and then like I need to go, otherwise they won't send me my medication.
Yes. Or even
So,
getting a test done, it's taking forever. Just
yes.
schedule an appointment, because
Mm-hmm.
there's not enough staff to do your test, certain amount of people can go in. So it's been really hard, to get tests or even going to a doctor's appointment,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
hard. For my rheumatologist, I feel so comfortable going to my rheumatologist because he has scleroderma patients. So he knows what we have to do to keep ourselves safe, you know?
Right.
But when you have to go to other doctors, I went to pain management a couple of, like a month ago, I believe. And I was so worried and so anxious to go because I didn't know if they were going to keep us safe. Everyone goes there.
Right.
So that anxiety that you get to go to a doctor's appointment, it's hard, But I mean, we have to do it.
Yeah. Like I go to, my team is in Pittsburgh, so it's
Mhm.
like 5 hours from, like 4.5 hours from where I live. So, when I had that heart thing about a month ago, I had to go there and like be admitted and get the defibrillator placed in my chest and everything. So I was like so nervous. Not really to be in the hospital, but like to stay overnight in the hotel.
Yeah.
Like to be around, like, because you don't know like where how clean it's going to be and everything like that. So it was like, we're already cautious to begin with, and now with this we're like extra cautious and it can like drive you nuts.
Yes. So what's something that you have accomplished while having scleroderma?
Um, so for me, I always wanted to help other people. I was going to college to be a nurse before I got sick, and I wasn't able to graduate because I was too sick. So for me, the biggest accomplishment in my life is just like where I'm at right now. Like even though I'm not 100% healthy or even 50% healthy, I'm still like going out and making connections with other people, and I made it to be a board member, and I have a young adult Zoom meeting that I do once a month, and I always wanted to be a published author, and I accomplished that by writing a bunch of articles on this online magazine called The Mighty. And I work with Spin a lot too. I'm on a bunch of their patient advisory boards. So, you know, before the pandemic, my biggest regret was that I never got to travel
Hmm.
and like do all these things before I got sick. So, um, with being sick now, I kind of reached out and like made relationships with different drug companies and different speaking engagements, and through that I'm able to travel and also help people and talk about like my journey and how to live with scleroderma and to help other people. So even though I didn't get to do nursing, I'm still helping, and I'm kind of like checking off all those boxes along the way of things that I always wanted to do.
Yeah, yeah,
So
because
I'm very grateful for that.
yeah, with scleroderma, all your goals that you have, especially when you're diagnosed at a young age, they seem to just go away.
um I don't have any, I don't wish I never had, like a lot of people ask you like
Yeah.
if you could not have scleroderma, or if there was one thing that you could get rid of or whatever. And I always think like, well, I don't wish I never had it, because I've met all these amazing people and made all these like bonds and really exciting and beautiful memories with everybody. I mean, if I could take one thing back, I think it would be, meeting all these new people. You lose people that you get close to because they, lose their fight with scleroderma. So I think maybe I would just wish that they would have more time with their family and the people that they love and the people that love them. Um, because I don't think it's really productive to say, well, what if you never had scleroderma? Because that's not reality. Like,
Yeah,
even if you wish that, you still have it,
yeah,
So, I mean, if that was one thing I could take away, maybe it would be that.
yeah, yeah. Same here. The same question I get. Do you wish you didn't have scleroderma? No, I
Well, of
wish
course.
I'm okay. I mean, of course, but then at the same time, like you said, you're getting to meet all these people, all the warriors that you would have never met if you didn't have scleroderma. We would have never been doing this if we both didn't have
Right.
scleroderma, and it made me who I am, and I'm happy with who I am right now, that
Yeah.
I wouldn't wish I didn't have scleroderma. It made me stronger and made me more independent in a way, because there's certain things that I can do and then certain things that I need help with, and that's okay, because I'm the kind of person that doesn't like to ask for help at all, even when I need it. But now
Hmm.
it's like, okay, I have to admit that I need help, and that's okay too.
Right.
One thing that I would change, I don't know what it would change. I don't know. Maybe the way I was when I really got diagnosed. The fact that I didn't stand up for myself like I do right now. The fact
Yeah.
that I always thought doctors knew what was right for me, and
Like you know,
they
yeah,
didn't.
you didn't question. You didn't
Yes,
question like I
yes,
didn't do that either for many years. Like
yeah,
I was like, "Oh, this is what the doctor say. The
hmm,
doctor must know what he's talking about." And then like when I kept getting sicker, I was like, "Wait a minute, this is not like something's not right. Like I don't want to just live with this disease. Like I want to fight this disease, and I want to win."
yes,
So I became my own advocate, and like I did
hmm,
my research, and I found my whole team in Pittsburgh. Like I researched each doctor, like all their qualifications, like I did that. Like nobody else did.
yeah,
So I think that's so important that like if you don't feel comfortable with your doctor and you're questioning like how they're treating you, like it's okay to go and get a second opinion. And if your doctor doesn't want you to get a second opinion, then that's not the right doctor for you,
yes,
because
yes,
they should be like, go get a second opinion. Like, I know I'm right. I know this is the best treatment for you.
hmm,
And even if you just don't mesh well with your doctor, and they could be like the top in their field, like that's okay.
yeah,
You just have to find somebody that like you trust.
yes, yeah,
I feel like it's so frustrating, like when you go to a doctor, you go to the emergency room and you tell them what's wrong with you, and they're always want to say like, oh, it's from the scleroderma.
Yes.
Well, okay, maybe, but like maybe it's not.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's something else. And so I need you to kind of treat me like I'm just every other person and go from my head to toe and figure that out.
Yes.
Like it's so frustrating when you know your own body and you know what's right and like people either don't believe you or they don't trust you. Like
Yes.
that you know.
Yeah.
So I think that has taken me a lot. Like oh, I've always been like an outspoken person, but it took me a lot to kind of be like, oh, you need to do this, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, well, why? Like, why do you need to do that? What is it for? What are you gonna exactly do to me? I ask so many questions, they probably want to kill me when I go.
I mean, but it's good because like you said, you know your body, you know how you're feeling. And if you don't agree with something, it's good to speak out. Because in the beginning, I agree with all of what doctors were saying, and they were not good choices. And especially when you go to emergency room when they have no
Yep.
idea what scleroderma is, and
Yeah.
I know I haven't been through it, but I know that you tell your emergency room doctor, oh, can you talk to my rheumatologist? And they're like, no, I know what's
Yeah.
happening, and that's not good. They're supposed to, as doctors, I believe they're supposed to work together. They want to help someone. I have
Yeah.
been blessed that when I have gone to emergency rooms and the doctors have no idea what's going on, I can just say, hey, can you just talk to my doctor and they will explain to you what you can do. And they'd say, yes, yes, we'll talk to them right now, and they can help me. But I do know
Right.
that people don't get that. Some people are like, no, I know what I'm doing, and I'm a doctor as well. Yes, you're a doctor, but you're not a specialist that I need.
Yeah, you're not my doctor.
Yeah, you're not my doctor. You don't know what I've been through these couple of years, the medication, because some medications, if you take them together, you can get a bad reaction. And how would
Right.
they know that you're taking that medication or your body cannot take that medication, you know?
And sometimes you take medication that's not really, you're taking it for something that it's not normally
Yeah.
given to other people for. So like I take these eye drops, and I take for a dry eye, but I take both of them.
Hmm.
And normally, normal people, they just take one or the other.
Yeah.
So constantly, when I need a new prescription of the drops, my pharmacy's calling me being like, why are you on both of these drops? You can't
Yes.
take both of these drops at the same time. I'm like, call my doctor.
Yes.
I'm on both of these drops.
Yes.
But I just feel like, I don't know if you feel like this, but it's like when I had my heart thing and I was just like really low at that point because I thought it was like stable
Hmm.
and I thought like I was okay, and it just came out of nowhere, and I just felt like every time I go to the hospital or I go somewhere where they don't know what scleroderma is, or I go to a local doctor, or I go to a pharmacy or anywhere to get a test done, I feel like I have to fight. Like when I was admitted to the hospital, I felt like I had to fight from the time I walked in to the time I left to get the care that I deserve.
Yes.
You know,
Hmm.
like we shouldn't have that shouldn't happen.
No. Yeah.
And that's really like something that I love to share with other people because I don't want other people to have to go through it, and I want them to be able to like like use their voice and say like this is not okay. Like when I went for my heart, they wanted to put the defibrillator in locally. And 5 years ago I had some heart issues and they wouldn't touch me. They like were like, "No, we don't want to touch you. You have scleroderma." But so I went to Pittsburgh and had it done. And so now 5 years later they want to put a medical device in my body near my heart, and I'm just gonna say okay.
Yeah.
No, no, no. No. I was like, no offense, you guys are very talented, but I'm gonna go to my team. And like they were kind of offended, but like I've just realized like over the years, like if I have to offend somebody to get the proper care, then that's what I have to do.
Yeah.
Because I mean, what else are you gonna do?
Yes. Especially me and you that are from big cities. There's a lot of people. Our hospitals are Well, I went in once to emergency room and the nurse told me, "Oh, we have no beds. Come back at 6 a.m." And I went there probably like around 8 p.m. So you're telling me I have to wait around 10 hours to see a doctor? I'm gonna die in the waiting room, you know?
Yeah, like
So
you're going to the emergency room because it's an
exactly. If
emergency.
I wanted to wait until the next morning, I can just go to my doctor, not going to emergency,
Right,
you know? And especially when you don't feel good and the fact that you have to be fighting, you know? I'm blessed that
right,
I have a mom that fights for my rights. You know, she has
right.
always done it. You know, my husband is more quiet, but when he has to fight for me, he will do it when I can't. You know, and I went to a different hospital and I told him, "Hey, I don't feel good. Scleroderma. I need to be admitted right now. You know, I have to be checked." And that hospital was like, "We need you to go in fast, check me in a bed because I need it. I was dehydrated because I was really sick that day." And and it's like, really? You're gonna tell somebody that's sick to wait until the next morning? No. And I know a lot of people stayed, and I'm like, why would you stay? There's different hospitals around.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you
To
have to
like for me too, I
constantly
have
fight.
a fight. Yeah. Like for me too, I have like wonderful parents that fight, and my brothers and sisters, and they fight for me, and they usually
Mm-hmm.
come with me. But like when I went to the emergency room, it was during COVID, so nobody could come with me. So I was just like, it was foreign to me when everybody's like trying to poke needles into you and do and like ask you all these questions. But the one good thing that I got out of it was the Scleroderma Foundation has this emergency alert form on their website that you can print out and fill out and has all your doctors, your medications and everything. So I had it filled out in an envelope and it's in my drawer for it says emergency on it. So when I went in by ambulance, I just handed them that paper and they were like, "Oh, this is so much better because everything's on here and then, we don't have to ask you," and like they could do what they
Mm-hmm.
need to do because all like my insurance, everything, it was on that paper. So like that was like a lifesaver and a time saver.
Yes, yes, I do the same thing. I have that. We actually give it to all our members when they need a
Mhm.
copy. But I always have it with me because when I go to any doctor, even my own doctor, they always ask you the same question: what medication you're taking, and
Yeah.
it's just easier. And you take 100 medications, you're not gonna remember every name. And what's the amount of doses? I don't know. Like I said, I take 100 medication. They're the same ones
Yeah.
from last month, but they can't. They have to actually, ask you. So I just hand in the paper and be like, "This is what I'm taking," and just make a copy and put it in my file because it's so hard to remember all your medications. It's
Yeah.
harder
Like
to
I have
to remember during the day. I have an alarm for every medication that I have to take.
yeah. Yeah, and then they could just make a copy of it and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. And then I
yeah.
just, every when I get a new medication or take off a medication, if I take one, I just, erase it. If I add one, I just add it and that's it. But yeah, it's really hard to remember your medication or what doctors are you seeing. I don't know. I see 5 doctors. I can't
Yeah, like I
remember
see
where they're
doctors
located.
locally. Yeah. And so especially when you're like in a stressful situation, like going into the emergency room when you don't feel good, like you don't remember like that stuff. You're kind of worried about like, okay, am I gonna like
Mhm.
can I breathe? Am I gonna be able to walk? Like I'm so sick, you're so sick.
Yes.
So yeah, it was definitely like a lifesaver. And I always make sure like both of my parents have a list of like the medications and stuff. Like my dad has one in his wallet, my mom has one in her purse. So just in case. And
Yeah.
like I know it sounds like a little morbid, but like that's the world we're living in. Like as a chronically ill patient, like those are things you have to think about.
Yes, that is the same here. My husband and my mom both have a copy of a list of all my doctors, a list of all my medications, and sometimes I will put if I done a test so they won't have to do it on me again. Like
Right.
they have to put you on what's that test? That you go in the little tube. What is it called? Wait, can't remember the name.
Oh,
I
like
think
an MRI
yeah, an
or
MRI. You know, you're not supposed to
yeah,
get an MRI often.
yeah.
You know, so it's like, okay, if I already done it in a month or 2 months ago, can you just call that doctor, get the results? You
Right,
know,
because it won't be covered then, and then you'll
it,
have to pay for it.
exactly. You only get it covered
Yeah,
once every, if you get it covered. But insurance are a different, you know, that's a whole different
that's a whole
subject
different
that
subject.
I don't want to get in because then I will get heated. What would you tell somebody that's newly diagnosed with scleroderma?
Um, if there was one thing I could tell a newly diagnosed patient, it would be, um, take a deep breath and just kind of prioritize, sit down, have a conversation with whoever's going to be your support system, prioritize what your needs are, and then don't be afraid to advocate for those needs. Like we spoke on before, don't be afraid to say no. Don't be
Yeah.
afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to correct people if they get something wrong. Like it's your body. You're the one fighting this disease and living in it.
Hmm.
So no one else is going to do that for you. Well, I mean, if you have a support system, they might be able to, but you know your body the best.
Yeah.
So and if you have like you hear no or we can't help you, like don't ever take no for an answer. There will be somebody out there
Yeah.
that will can at least try.
Yeah.
So, don't give up.
Hmm. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
really great. Yeah. And I wish I would have had those words in the beginning, you know, of my
Me
diagnosis,
too. Me
because it's
too.
really hard. You know, like we said, we think people want to help us, but at the end, they end up not helping us. And we wait so much to finally get a good doctor, a good team to help us when we could have been treated years before.
And like you're not alone. There's
Yeah,
even if you think you're the only one with that symptom, like trust me,
they're not.
somebody else somewhere has it. Even though this disease is so personal to each patient, like you're not alone. Like there is somebody out there that knows what you're going through.
Yes.
So find us
Yes.
and find us and we'll help you.
And
Definitely.
people shouldn't be scared to ask for help because
Right.
there is help out there. You know, me and
Hmm.
you are, I think our goal is to have scleroderma known by everyone, you know, so
Absolutely.
people don't have to go through what we've been through in the beginning of our diagnosis, you know, not being able to
Absolutely.
find the help. And now, you know, like I said, all these groups, your youth group, everything, all these channels that we have, you know, the purpose of this channel was for that, for people to, when if you have, you know, you Google scleroderma and, you know, here's my story of don't do what I did when I was barely diagnosed, you know,
Hmm.
or hear your
Yeah.
story or other people's stories that, you know, it's been years and we're still here and we're still fighting and we're trying to get scleroderma word out for everyone to know what it is.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah. Thank you, Amy.
Well, thank you for having me. I had so much fun. This was amazing.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're
You know,
doing
this,
such a great job.
thank you. You know, like I said, this channel was for that, to actually help people. I always say if I help one person, then I'm doing my job good, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's, you know, everyone's story is important. Everyone's story is different, and that's what, you know, it's good about scleroderma, that we all have different stories, you know, and we still all have scleroderma, and we're still all different, you know. Not
Right.
every scleroderma patient looks the same or have the same symptoms. Everyone's different. Thank
Yeah,
you,
it's gonna take
Amy.
a while.
Yes,
Thank you,
I know,
Alejandra.
but
I had so much fun.
don't forget to give me your like, subscribe down below, and leave any comments if you would like to know more about me or about scleroderma. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.